15 of longest lasting cheap fragrances in my collection. So without any further ado, I want to start by House of Lattafa at number 15, Khamrah, one of the top sellers from this house, the regular version, not Qahwa. So this is a dried fruity, extremely sweet fragrance. If you are not into sweet fragrances, this one is definitely not for you. I can get also cinnamon, some sort of dates vibe out of this, like dried dates, let's say, and very little boozy. I can get very good 8-10 hours plus longevity with this one, let's say solid 8 hours with 2 hours of good projection and sillage. Just leans a little bit feminine to my taste, let's say, to this one. The rest is okay. Number 14 is Megara by Maison Alhambra, one of those lasting and unusual, unique smelling freshies, I have to say. And for this price, it is definitely a bargain. So at the first spray, lasted on me like 6-7 hours, but now lasts longer, like 8-10 hours easily. It is Cologne of Megara from House of Oudh, exactly like that fragrance. It is a fresh, slightly oceanic, and somehow dirty type of fresh. It has some sort of woody, or let's say woody incensey weight to it, way at the background, not that much prominent. So if you want something niche standing, unusual smelling, cheapy without breaking the bank, let's say, this one is a must try for you. Also milestone from House of Armaf, but this one lasts way longer. So I can get like 2 hours of projection and sillage with this one, average, close to good, let's say, but sillage is little bit less or more better compared to the projection with this one, and longevity is solid 8-10 hours. Number 13, again by Maison Alhambra, Terra, one of those underrated gems from this house. If you like fragrances like, oh, it's beautiful, Black Afghano, Gucci Intense Oud, Oud based, smoky, dark, bitter fragrances, this one is definitely for you. Montserrat Oud Cafe, I can say. So it is a very burnt, smoky, bitter, like the coloring smells like dark brown, and it is Colognes of Terra by Oudh. Smells exactly like that fragrance, but not as long lasting. That one is like 24 hours. But for the price, I cannot have any complaint, which is like 20 bucks for 100 ml or 50 ml. Yeah, 20 bucks for 50 ml and lasts like 10 hours plus easily. But if you are into this type of fragrances, if not, I have to say again, it is not a safe blind buy worthy fragrance. I can get like 10 hours plus longevity with this one, with 2 hours of good projection and sillage. Number 12, from Lattafa's Pride line, Eternal Oud. Personally, I find the name a bit misleading. I don't know why they put Eternal Oud on this one. So I can easily say to this one, Eternal Vanilla, Eternal Amber. Vanilla is much more prominent. It is that safe, I have to say, if you like vanilla and amber based fragrances. So it smells creamy a little bit, it is powdery, and oud is way at the background, like 1-2% of oud is here to give to fragrance, to add to fragrance some sort of weight. It is not that much prominent to be in the title Eternal Oud. It is very close to Francis Kurkdjian's Grand Soir. I can say even this one is better, one of those colognes that I like it better compared to the real stuff, as it stands a bit more masculine compared to the Grand Soir. Grand Soir is like perfectly unisex, little bit I can say leans feminine, but this one is definitely masculine leaning fragrance because of those drops of ouds. Lasts on me 10 hours plus easily, and projection and sillage is solid for first 2 hours. Number 11, Swiss Arabian Shaghaf Oud, the gold bottle. So again, oud is not that much prominent here. I can say it is more about vanilla, saffron and drops of rose. Like I can say 70% vanilla, 20% I can get that saffron, then 5% rose and 5% somehow I can say less or more oud. It is a buttery fragrance. Vanilla is so much creamy here, more than creamy. It is very solid type of fatty vibe it has that smells like cream butter to my nose. It is a safe fragrance in terms of that oudy fragrances and lasts very long. It is very soft type of fragrance, leans a little bit feminine. If you have smelled Oud Bouquet by Lancôme, it is very close to that fragrance. Lasts only 10 hours plus. Projection is not that loud here, it is average, but sillage is way above average here. Just sillage is like room filler, but projection is like average to soft. Number 10, from House of Lattafa, blend of Lattafa, EDP version. There is also extra de Parfum version of this fragrance, which I haven't tried that one. So when I sniff it from the atomizer, for whatever reason, I have no idea why, it smells like very close to Dior Homme Parfum to my nose, but when I spray it, it is totally another fragrance. Let's say non-powdery version of Dior Homme Parfum, or Dior Homme Parfum without iris, with boosted leather and smoke and rose, let's say. When you read also the note breakdown of this fragrance, there is a ton of similar notes with this one and Dior Homme Parfum, but I don't say that is a cologne of that fragrance. I can say it has like 30-40% of inspiration. For me, it is a rose, incense, oud, leather and saffron based fragrance. These notes are prominent note here. It is unisex but leans more masculine because of that leathery and incensey base. Lasts on me easily 8 to 10 hours plus in terms of longevity, and projection and sillage is average for first 2-3 hours. Number 10, from House of Afnan Supremacy. Not only intense, hands down one of my most complimented cheapies in the entire collection, I have to say honestly. It is a very concentrated fragrance. It is extrait de parfum, means even more concentrated than EDP, like 35 to 40% oil concentration we have here. It is citrusy, it is beautiful, it is smoky and gets earthier at the dry down. Opens up citrusy, but at the dry down you don't have that much of fresh citrusy notes. It is earthy, smoky. It is something between Creed Aventus, you can get inspirations here, and Hajavat by Nishana. But because of that prominent earthy notes, I believe it is closer to Hajavat. But it doesn't smell exactly like any of those fragrances. It is not exactly like Aventus, it is not exactly like Hajavat. It is like mixture of both of those fragrances. Very high quality and complementing DNA we have here. Lasts on me 12 hours plus easily, and projection and sillage is solid for first 2-3 hours. One of those complement monsters, especially for spring and summer. Number 8, again by Afnan, another great concentrated, lasting and extremely expensive smelling cheapie, Supremacy in Oud. It is bitter. Oud is here, not misleading like other fragrances. Oud is here prominent. Scent profile is daring. It is smoky, bitter, and at the same time sweet. But when I say sweet, it doesn't mean that this fragrance is safe, because oud is very prominent here, and it is definitely not for everyone. Not a blind by worthy scent. It is candy flossy, bitter and sweet, and very close to Initio's oud for greatness, like 70-75%. If you want something even closer, you can go by oud for glory. It's fair enough close, but has some sort of takes. I can see that Afnan added something to this fragrance and they played with the settings. That's why it doesn't smell identical to that fragrance for me, but it is fair enough, pretty close. Lasts only 12 hours plus in terms of longevity. Projection and sillage is great for first 2-3 hours. Number 7, from House of Bentley. Bentley for many intense. Most of lasting fragrances are not that safe. This one as well. It is definitely daring, has big time age factor to it. It is very mature, leathery, boozy, cinnamony, spicy and resiny, little smoky type of fragrance. Definitely love and hate. This is my second bottle and I really love it. If you like boozy fragrances, if you like mature fragrances, leathery and very daring, bold, pungent type of fragrances, this one is definitely a must try for you, especially considering the price, 30 bucks for 100 ml. I believe if you are into these fragrances, this is definitely a must-have for you. But I have to say again, it is a very daring, polarizing type of fragrance. Lasts only 10-12 hours plus, and projection and sillage is great for first 2-3 hours. Number 6, Ameer Oud Intense from House of Lattafa. There is also Ameer Oud regular version of this one. Don't confuse these two versions together. Ameer Oud Intense. It is smoky again. It is lasting. It is on steroids, sweet and at the same time bitter type of fragrance. It is very beautiful, like bonfire type of smokiness, like heated woods, sugar, and has very little of nuttiness at the background of the fragrance, but it is mostly about that smoke and sugary notes. It is also a very lasting and I can say sticky fragrance. It sticks to your skin. Look at this coloring. Like the color, it is very concentrated. The smelling also lungs filler type of fragrance. Very close to By the Fireplace from Maison Margiela. I can say scent profile is same, but this one is like on a steroid version of that fragrance, a screaming version of that fragrance. I can get 10-12 hours plus longevity with this one easily, with 2-3 hours of great projection and sillage. Now we are at top 5. Like always, we are going fast. Without any further ado, from House of Armaf. By the way, remember to subscribe. Armaf Club de Nuit Intense Man Limited Edition. One of the longest lasting smoky Aventus colognes out there. For me, it is one of the best Aventus colognes, as I am into smokier batches of Aventus. I don't want to talk about opening of this fragrance. It is nothing about opening. Some of the fragrances have better openings or are about opening and dry down, but this one is only about dry down. Forget about cheap opening of this fragrance, which I have no problem with that, but this one shines at the dry down. It is even smokier than the smokiest batches of Aventus. I assure you, lasts on me like 10-12 hours plus, and projection and sillage is crazy with this one. It is like 2016 batches of EDT version, I have to say to this one. 2-3 sprays more than enough for me. Personally, I don't go more than 3 sprays with this one. Projects very loud for first 3 hours. Number 4 from House of Haramain, Amber Oud Tobacco Edition. Another misleading title name, Oud. Forget about Oud, you won't get Oud here, at least I can't get any. So I can get more clove for sure. Honey, sweet notes, and tobacco at the background of the fragrance, very close to Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille with better performance and lower price. I can get easily 12-14 hours plus longevity, gets very solid compliments, especially from women. One of those complimenting must-have fragrances, I have to say. 12-14 hours plus longevity, 2-3 hours, solid projection and sillage. Number 3, Silver Scent by Jacques Bogart. It is safer compared to like 95% of fragrances in today's list, but not natural, smells somehow artificial, let's say to this one, but gets compliments, especially from people that are not into fragrances, people that have no idea that much about niche, designer, notes, accords. They give you compliments. I have received a few compliments with this one, as it is lasting and projecting with a yummy scent profile in a, let's say, synthetic way, at least to me. It is like fresh, slightly like minty, citrusy with ton of grape juicy vibe at the background of the fragrance or at the base of the fragrance, like soda-ish, fizzy, fruity type of fragrance. Projection sillage is very loud with this fragrance, like 3-4 hours loud projection and sillage, and for sure you force people to give you compliments, to smell you. Number 2 from House of Rasasi, Nafaeis Shaghaf Purom. So it is also a very unusual and different, almost I can say niche smelling cheapie. If I have to give you some address in terms of scent profile and scent direction, I can say less or more like Invictus Legends by Paco Rabanne, like that fragrance, salty and sweet at the same time, and it is floral, like jasmine. We have here rose, we have here fruity notes, and it is at some points like dirty, salty, woody, little smoky at the base. So I can say to this one, a very sweet, lasting, floral, fruity fragrance. Floral notes are prominent, much more prominent compared to the fruity notes, and at some points at the base it is a bit dirty and salty without exaggeration. Lasts on my skin 24 hours plus. This is one of the very first batches, by the way, and projection and sillage is loud for first 3 hours. I prefer it for fall and spring, especially for spring. Can be somehow overwhelming for summer. Number 1, longest lasting cheapie in my collection, but at first I have to say, to be honest, I'm not that much fan of this fragrance, as it smells too holy, too mystic. I'm not that much a mystic person. I'm a bit flat, let's say. I'm not that much deep into some points. So Shaghaf Oud Aswad by Swiss Arabian. Smoky rose is here, too much Eastern mystic smelling fragrance, like temple, let's say to this one. Rose, oud, saffron on steroids, and very musky. I can get ton of real animalic musk out of this one. For me, this one is too much. I don't like it, but yeah, I can say it is one of the lasting fragrances, longest lasting fragrances in my collection. One of those headaches giving fragrances, for me at least. Maybe you're gonna like it, but if you're into this type of fragrances, you will enjoy it. I don't enjoy it personally. Take care, guys. I don't want to smell this one. Let's take this one.